Hey all, and welcome back to Let's Talk Assassin's Creed, your number one podcast for all things Assassin's Creed. In this episode, we're going to discuss two theories I have in the Animus, and we have fellow Assassin's Creed podcaster, Bleeding Effect, helping us answer one of my crazy theories. They're an excellent podcast. I've listened to them for a few months now. When I first wanted to get into podcasting, I listened to them, and it got me into this idea of it can be done. I should try it, and I'm really thankful for them. You can tune into my social media, Twitter @LetCreed and Facebook Assassin's Creed Let's Talk, and you can find a link to their podcast on there if you would like to give them a check out, or you can search for Bleeding Effect on Podbean. Now, we're going to start off sensible, because we're going to end on a funny note, but we're going to start sensible. And what we're going to start with is, what if everything is a plan? And it sounds daft, but what if we didn't create the Animus? What if they're using certain advancements that the Isu had, they created the Animus for themselves and implanted in our DNA or subconscious over time? It's like similar to how animals have that genetic memory for migration or the need to reproduce, a natural instinct. And over time we had this instinct to look into science that would eventually break through into the Animus, and then suddenly we create the Animus, and it's this big wonderful thing that suddenly leads into a civil war. And now, the reason I'm thinking of this is, we know the Isu had a lot of weird stuff in the Piece of Eden. They had the Pyramid of Eden, which was able to access memories, and they had a lot of, especially the apple and trident, that could create illusions and manipulation. Couple them together and you've got the perfect tool for war. There was a civil war before Adam and Eve broke out, which led to the Fleece of Eden being made. Perfect tool for them to capture one of them, read the memories, set them free, or kill them, or whatever the Isu wanted to do, and you've got the perfect gathering tool. When the 10-year war between Adam and Eve broke out, capture one of them, read through the memories, you've got an understanding. And maybe that's what they initially wanted. And then the other thing that's kind of making me think, hang on, something's not adding up a little, is when you play the games, the Isu who are meant to be extinct, well, dead, keep appearing through the Animus. They've appeared to Ezio, they've appeared to Desmond, they've appeared to Connor, and they've appeared in the comics as well, through the Animus, and it's kind of got me thinking, what if this is the plan? We know that they wanted to help Desmond stop the second catastrophe of 2012, so they knew it was coming, so can't be that much far-fetched that they needed a way to warn the humans again of the second catastrophe by letting details flow through time about an object that can access someone's memories. Something that, with the Pyramid of Eden being existing in Odyssey, with the cult using, maybe because they're a pseudo-Templar order, they had an idea of expanding that into real-world technology in the future. Stuff like that has just built up, which has led me to believe that maybe, and I feel like I'm waffling here, maybe all along the Isu know that the second catastrophe was coming, and they knew that humans wouldn't listen the first time, and neither would the Isu because they're too busy in war. So what if they created a failsafe called the Animus? Well, they probably didn't name it Animus, but a way to access memories so they could change stuff in the past that would affect the future without all this weird time travel nonsense, because I don't think time travel exists. And it's a way to travel through time without time. Travel through someone's memories, see what they did, and an action in the past that was a memory would impact the future, and it could save thousands of lives if done properly. But instead, human Templars and Assassins started fighting, and the technology has just grown into a tool of war, which is kind of bizarre, but the Isu still can communicate through it, which led me to believe that maybe they know something about the Animus that we don't. Maybe they know hidden detail that we're all missing, because we think it's of human design when actually maybe it's from Isu origin, and they know more about traveling through someone's memories than we believe. And if this is true, then really maybe the Isu have a bigger impact on the games than we believe, because we're always seeing Assassins vs Templars. We rarely see Isu, and what if Isu are playing this big role in the background and we don't know about it? Which is kind of cool and kind of creepy because it gives this Isu this sinister vibe. And now we're going to go into the crazy as well. Crazy by name, crazy by nature. And this one was helped by the bleeding effect. And if there's any static in my mic, I think my mic's about to die. Sorry about this. This is the second time I've recorded this episode because my mic died the first time. And, well, so the second theory, which is the crazy one, I'll start again, is we know the Animus is a supercomputer that reads memories and DNA. And using this logic that's set in canon, would it be possible to create a falsified world, for example, certain histories faked or keep people non-existent to trick assassins or Templars? Now, I think it's a mad one. What if we could? We know they tried something Black Flag by making a memory video game, but what if they went a step further and changed a whole memory into a game? I passed this to Bleeding Effect, which I've been doing their podcast for years, and they'll probably know a bit more than me, who's just been sat here playing the games like a little hobbit in my little corner. Their response was, well, that's kind of Matrixy, to be honest. Lol. Like, I know that Clay Kazmarek's conscience made the Animus Island inside Desmond's mind, help him recover his identity and all that. Based on that, how the machine works, I don't really know if you could cause someone's memory to function in a complete fictional setting. Since the machine relies on DNA memory, you would have to take some memory simulation coding and then maybe examine a person's DNA on a micro scale, find out how you can transfer computer code into DNA. It makes my brain hurt to think about it. With evolution in the genetic research field, I would say we've already in some ways found a way to trick our DNA and telling it which traits to select. Don't people already have the option to alter or design the baby or select its sex prematurely? We don't have it yet, but that is coming apparently, which is very insane, playing God with a child. I'm sure if you combine what advancements the Templars have already made with certain useful artifacts, that creating a false ancestor or false memories do correspond with a false environment or universe within the Animus would no longer be an object. And that's bizarre. That's even making my head hurt. That's Matrixy or Inception-y. And I think I may have gone off on a bit much tangent. Maybe if we took the DNA side out, because he's right, we can't change DNA memories. Okay, that is true. Oh, I will agree. But what if, and we're going to use an example, we're going to use two boxes, mentally for me. In the left box we have Altair's memories, and in the right box we have nothing, it's empty. So what if, when you jump into Animus, you put in the left box, which is Altair's memories, you live, you breathe, you're an assassin. But what if it was possible for then you to be jumped into the left box, the right box, which is empty, and the Animus takes the memory from Altair, but creates a false simulation. So it's not changing DNA memory, it's just creating a simulation of a memory, because it's already creating a simulation of memory already, but what if it creates a simulation of a simulation? So everything in that world is fake, doesn't alter the memory, and as key events play along in the memory in the first box, in the left box, everything's going legit. So Altair went here, 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 he did this, he had a wife and everything. But in the left box, maybe Altair didn't go to here. Maybe he killed this person instead of this person. And you think, oh my god, Altair did this, he's evil. When in actual fact, you are not even playing a real memory. I mean, the best way to describe this in a simpler way is like a cinema. When you go to cinema and you're watching the film, and it's a reel, and imagine that the DNA is coming through the reel and projecting on the screen, and you watch it and it's kind of cool. But what if you add like a filter, like an Instagram filter, black and white, and you made that film black and white? Doesn't mean the memory was black and white, you're just adding an effect on top. And so what I'm trying to say is, what if it's using the real and the real memory, to create a fake world? And I know this is mad, but what if when we think we're living an ancestor's memories, like Altair, we're not? What if someone's took his real memory, let it play accordingly, but then making us watch a fake version, or play out a legit memory of Altair, write everything down or record everything on a separate computer, then create a game world based around it. So you're not living the memory anymore, you're just living a game world based off a memory that can be changed. Which is crazy, but could you imagine playing a game where all the way through you think, oh my god, this assassin's bad, he's killing all these people, he's rogue. And then you realise you've not been playing a real memory, you've been playing a simulation of a memory. And if you were put into the Animus properly, you actually relive the real memory, and you'll find out that the assassin isn't that bad. And that's actually making my head hurt. It's like Inception. Well, there are two theories on the Animus, and there's thousands more possibly out there, because we still don't fully understand the Animus. We just know it's a supercomputer that reads memory DNAs, and we get to play that, and it is epic. But I think that's enough for tonight's episode. My brain hurts. I need to lie down. Tomorrow I'll update all this to YouTube, where everything's being backed up at the moment, which is great. But next week, thank you to a friend on the Game at Hive, Too Swift, I have a new project. It's one that I'm really interested in, and it's Facts on the Hidden Blade. We're going to take some interesting facts, and there's also going to be a surprise, but I'm going to keep the surprise to the last minute. So if you keep an eye on my social media, Twitter and Facebook, one or the other, there'll be a surprise announcement saying the script's done on the Friday, and you'll find out a little secret and surprise about next week's podcast. Ooh, see, I like mystery. There's also, if you check my YouTube, Let's Talk Assassin's Creed. Yeah, that's my name. Sorry, I totally forgot. You'll see there's a thank you video on there, because I've hit 200 downloads on Spreaker and 110 listeners on Spotify, which is phenomenal. And I send out my love and support to everyone that's tuned in to watch me ramble on about Assassin's Creed like a madman, because I love the series. So thank you again so much for all your support, and here's to the future.